What does modesty actually mean? And how do we balance that with authenticity? Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share real life inspiration. And in this series, Torah for Today, we take a short idea from the Torah portion and use it to upgrade and impact our everyday lives. Hi, today I'm actually recording from my car, so if you listen carefully, you may hear the sounds of the birds chirping in the background. Modesty is a huge word in the Jewish world, but what does it actually mean? The prophet talks about walking modestly with God, but what does it mean to walk modestly? Interestingly enough, we're told that this is how God behaves. God actually behaves with modesty. What does that mean? In this week's Torah portion, it talks about the sacrifices, and it says that there is a permanent fire that was lit on the altar that should never ever be extinguished. But even that fire had to be lit first. Why? Because even when God does the most incredible miracles, there's always some sort of concealment. For example, when God split the sea, the most incredible miracle, the sea split. The text, the Torah says that the night before, the wind blew, so that there was a little bit of concealment, so a person could perhaps say, oh, perhaps it was concealed in nature. That's how God behaves in the world. And that gives us a bit of a picture of what modesty actually is. It goes beyond just a dress code. It speaks to how we behave as people. It's about creating an inner world that is so strong and so secure that we're not dependent on the opinions and the thoughts of other people for our own self-worth. That we can make our own spiritual decisions without worrying about the influences of other people. We have that secure inner world. And interestingly, when we continue to create that for ourselves, we're behaving like God. And it also helps us recognize the hand of God in our lives. We just finished Purim. And the Megillah, the story of Purim, is written over 9 years. And it was written by two people, Mordechai and Esther, who both developed that strong inner world that gave them that strength to be able to make the right spiritual decisions independent of how the rest of the world were behaving. And when they wrote the Megillah, they showed us the hand of God. Someone else could have written the story and they may have missed the clues. They may have missed the fact that Esther was chosen to be the new queen. She just happened to be chosen to be the new queen. They may have missed the fact that Mordechai was the one who just happened to hear the plot which of Bigsan and Zeresh killing the king, which led to him being rewarded, which led to Haman's downfall, which led to the saving of the Jews. When we have that strong inner world, it helps us to dig deeper and see things beyond the surface, to see the string that kind of pulls our life together, to see the signs, the small signs from God. I'll share with you a personal story. The other day I was having a tough day, and I opened up my Instagram and I got a message from someone, and she said, I was so inspired by the reel that you had posted about the Nuremberg trials. I had posted a short reel telling the story of the Nuremberg trials and how the 10 Nazis were convicted and killed and executed in the year 1946, which was the Hebrew date Tafshin Zayin. And I shared that Rabbi Sroli Braunstein points out that in the Megillah, the story of Esther, when it talks about the hanging of the 10 sons of Haman, those 3 letters, the Taf, the Shin, and the Zayin, are written in small. And no one could understand for years and years why it was written small. And until they realized that there was a link, a sort of a hint between the hanging of the 10 sons of Haman and the Nuremberg trials, that it was hinted at thousands of years earlier in the writing of the book of the Esther. And she told me that she watched the video and she was inspired by it, and it inspired her to realize that God's hand is in our life, and God sends us signs. And I was having a tough day, and I thought to myself, where's my sign? until I realized that was my sign. That even though I was having a tough day, God sent me this message through this wonderful person who took the time to send me the message to say, yes, you're having a tough time, but you're going to be okay too. We live in a world filled with social media. We have so much access to what other people are doing or what they choose to share of what they're doing. And it can be so easy to be overwhelmed by what looks like other people's success or underwhelmed by our own lives. We need this skill of building that strong inner world. And that's what modesty is. That's the way God interacts with the world. He conceals. He doesn't share everything. And that's what we need to do. We need to build that strong inner world that will help us dig deep and know how to navigate making those spiritual decisions regardless of other people's opinions. And it also helps us to see God's hand in our lives, orchestrating events with God's love for us. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If you'd like to find out more about how you can build that strong inner world, you can book a one-to-one complimentary call with me. You can find me on Instagram, it's Gila Ross, or you'll find my WhatsApp number in the show notes. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. Have a wonderful day.